Hello and welcome to my Yu-Gi-Oh channel. Today we're looking over the Forbidden and Limited list, which has been announced for Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duels. This will be coming into effect on January the 8th, and the reason for this is simply because we are about to get, when it gets usually to the 7th or 8th, that's per month, we get new cards, and therefore these lists come out to prevent certain strategies from being overly too powerful. The Forbidden card is Obedient Schooled. This is to do with the Yummy archetype. That's to be expected because it just allows you to bring those cards out very easily, and that would instantly make them too powerful. We have newly limited as the Maliss archetype, so Maliss P White Rabbit. This is because the Maliss archetype alongside Rizors has been overly too powerful and quite difficult to manage. Herald of the Arclight is one of these strange kind of negation style of effects, and so it's going to be far too powerful to rely on, and it's just not a good idea in order to keep this card out. Allure of Darkness is an interesting one. I wonder whether there's going to be dark attribute based support, or whether there is currently dark attribute monsters that are doing a lot of damage in the metagame, and so there is obviously the risk of, you're effectively drawing two cards for free. You do have to banish a dark attribute monster, and if you don't manage to banish one of them, you lose your entire hand, so there's that consequence. For Sky Striker Mecha Hornet drones, we received a lot of new support for the Sky Striker archetype, this being one of them, and it's quite difficult to deal with. It's a bit of a pain. And as for unlimiting, we're unlimiting the Heavy Metal Foes Electromite. I believe the reason for this is there hasn't been too much in condition with any sort of pendulum style of decks, so it might be a way of trying to encourage those. They also most likely aren't going to be introducing any new link monsters to the game that are, pendulum monsters to the game that are necessarily that powerful and strong enough to justify its going to restriction mode. As usual, you can obtain bonus points from dismantling cards whose maximum number of copies have been reduced, and this application lasts until the 5th of February with time zones applying. Now, so just to understand a bit more about what the cards do, I'll briefly actually cover what they are. Obedient Schooled is a normal spell card. If you control no monsters, special summon 3 level 2 or lower beast effect monsters with different names from your deck, but their effects are negated. Also, they are destroyed during the end phase. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon except beast-type monsters. The design on this card is basically, it was around the time where number 64 Ronin Raccoon Sendayu was around. It was emphasised to bring out a rank 2 monster. That's all that needed was 2 level 2 monsters. Very easy to do. These days, because you've got tuners and low level synchros, it can be used in decks such as Melfi. You've got these small mythical beast of the forest cards, which are useful as well. And you've got various other archetypes, even something as old as Ojamas can technically benefit from this, because you could really get the effect monsters out. I know there aren't so many of them, and I know the original base ones are normal monsters, but you do have the pink, you have the blue, and you've got the red, who are all effect monsters, so that's an example. These can just be too easy, too powerful to bring out, and it gives you effectively 3 monsters for the price of 1 card. Maliss P White Rabbit is a dark attribute Cyverse level 3 with 1200 attack and 300 defense. Its effect is you can take no damage from battles involving Maliss link monsters that point to this card. You can only use each of the following effects of Maliss P White Rabbit once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can set one Maliss trap from your deck with a different name than the cards in your graveyard. If this card is banished, you can pay 300 life points, special summon it. Also, you cannot special summon it from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except link monsters. This is part of the archetype which is overly too powerful at the moment. It's just too strong, and that's why they're limiting these things. Firstly, you're not taking in damage involving your Maliss link monsters that point to this card, so it does give you some level of protection. And in terms of as soon as this card is either normal or special summoned, you're able to instantly set a Maliss trap from your deck with a different name than the cards in your graveyard. So imagine bringing this out turn 1. You've got full flexibility because you most likely won't have any trap cards already in your graveyard. And if this card happens to be banished, which often it will be through multiple different forms of effects, you're just paying 300 life points to instantly bring this out. You are limited to only summoning link monsters for the rest of the turn, but since the rest of the Maliss monsters, their extra deck is link based, that isn't a limitation to it. Herald of the Arclight is a light attribute fairy type synchro monster. It's a level 4 with 600 attack and 1000 defense. It needs a tuner plus one or more non-tuner monsters. Any monster sent from the hand or deck to the graveyard is banished instead. When a spell or trap card or monster effect is activated, as a quick effect you can tribute this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one ritual monster or one ritual spell from your deck to your hand. The summoning on this card is extremely generic. It just needs a tuner plus one or more non-tuner monsters. It can be used in any deck so long as you basically run tuner monsters, really. Any monsters sent from the hand or main deck to the graveyard is banished. This effect is rarely ever used. It's not one of the things you first think of when you consider this card. It's more so the ability to tribute this card to negate an effect, be that a spell, a trap, or a monster effect. Typically, what your opponent would have to do is out this card first by destroying it in battle, and then go into their plays, which means they'd have to do a lot of their kind of stronger plays during the main phase 2 rather than main phase 1, and so that delays them. This card also has the benefit of, when it's sent to the graveyard, so this can be by any means, so long as it ends up in your graveyard, being able to search for either a ritual monster or a ritual spell. So that helps to support the rest of the Herald deck because you do have the ritual monsters within it. It's also quite flexible within other decks that you utilise ritual-based strategies. I would say it's fine to limit this to 1 because I don't think most players will be running more than 1 or need to run more than 1 given that you're limited with a 15 extra space. But it's not the biggest threat out there. I'm sure there are worse situations to manage. Allure of Darkness is a normal spell card. You draw 2 cards, then banish 1 dark monster from your hand, or if you do not have any in your hand, send your entire hand to the graveyard. Just as I was reflecting on the information to do with Maliss, that is the reason this card is being limited, because banishing a Maliss monster means they can just revive themselves. It's free cards, it's no cost to them to have to really do any of this. So that is the main reason why this has been limited. I'm sure there are other decks and strategies that can work alongside this. That's just the main one for the time being. Sky Striker Mecha Hornet Drones is a quick play spell card. If you control monsters in your main monster zone, special summon one Sky Striker Ace token. It's a warrior type, dark attribute level 1, with 0 attack and defense in defense position, which cannot be attributed, and if you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, when this effect resolves, the token's attack and defense becomes 1500 instead. This is usually a key starter card which is used within Sky Strikers in order for you to go into your various link monsters. So that could be the Kagari or it could be any of the other ones. It's just a main starter card, and given that Sky Strikers got so much of their anime and manga based support, that's the reason this has been limited. Heavy Metal Foes Electromite is a fire attribute psychic type link effect monster. It has arrows on the bottom left and the bottom right with 1800 attack, and it's a link 2. It requires 2 pendulum monsters in order to summon it. If this card is link summoned, you can add 1 pendulum monster from your deck to your extra deck face up. Once per turn, you can target 1 other face up card you control, destroy it, then add 1 face up pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. If a card in your pendulum zone leaves the field, draw 1 card. You can only use this effect of Heavy Metal Foes Electromite once per turn. This is part of the archetypes of cards that were used to support these additional kind of support mechanics. For example, Super Heavy Samurai got 1. You got 1 specific, which was the Halki Fibrax, which is for your synchro monsters. You've got various other forms of support. and they were useful for those specific decks. This one happens to be the one for Pendulum support, and actually all it requires is 2 Pendulum monsters. You'll be running plenty of those within the decks. I can see this actually encouraging people to use, I believe it's like these mythical beast type monsters. They're Pendulum monsters that are spellcasters, and I know that even with the limitations on how this card was, it's fine, because now I think people will be more encouraged to use this. As soon as this card is linked summoned, you're just able to add a Pendulum monster from your deck to your extra deck face up, so it's an easier way to kind of bring it out, because it can be summoned from the extra deck almost immediately. You're able to then target another face-up card you control and destroy it. So that can actually be, for example, another Pendulum monster, and then take one of your face-up Pendulum monsters from the extra deck and it goes back to your hand. So it's a way of recovering, recycling without needing to Pendulum summon from the extra deck. Because if you do, you need to do that to a zone that a Link monster kind of possesses. And if a card in your opponent's zone leaves the field, so this can be either by yourself or by your opponent, you're instantly able to draw a card, so it does actually help with your resourcing. Overall, I think all of these cards are quite good as in terms of actually what you're trying to do in limiting certain strategies, and I think it's quite interesting as we go into the future what other cards will be kind of introduced into the sets. Like I said, most likely Yummies are going to be in this next support line. I don't know necessarily what else is going to be in there, who knows, but I'm very excited to see what we've got. As always, I'd love to hear your opinions on this new Forbidden Unlimited list in the comment section down below. Make sure to like the video, it really helps support the channel, and please watch the video at the end screen. It will show you another video related to Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel.